Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council on Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Here.
Mr. Coghill? Ms. Gross? Mr. Mosley?
Here.
Mrs. Cale Smith? Mrs. Strasburger?
Here.
Mrs. Warwick? Mr. Wilson? Mr. Lavelle, President?
Here.
4 members present.
Oh, Barbara stepped out.
Councilwoman Warwick? Here. 5 members present.
Thank you. Now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next order of business is to amend the agenda. Is there a motion to amend?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Our next order of business is proclamations, and I'll begin with Councilman Mosley.
Can Amber Sloan and everyone that came to support Amber Sloan come up? And before I begin, I do want to thank my colleague, Councilwoman Cale Smith, who is not here, who really initiated this process as the co-sponsor of this proclamation. So, like I said, I want to thank Councilwoman Cale Smith for initiating, this proclamation and pulling me in, because Amber is one of my constituents who lives in the historic Belmar Gardens. So it's my honor today to present this proclamation. So whereas Amber Sloan was born in Pittsburgh, PA in 1973 and is the youngest of 11 siblings, Ms. Sloan attended Pittsburgh Public Schools and is a proud graduate of Westinghouse High School's class of 1992. And whereas Ms. Sloan was very athletic as a youth and basketball was one of her passions, and because of her talents, she received several college scholarships. However, due to societal pressures and financial constraints, Amber ventured down the wrong path, which eventually led to her incarceration. And whereas Amber has had a special place in her heart for at-risk youth, while incarcerated, she had a vision to create a nonprofit program to assist children to make better life choices than she did. Amber settled on the acronym MADIT, made it, making alternative decisions effectively impacting teens. And whereas Made It's mission is dedicated to giving at-risk youth in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania different options such as restorative justice, education, and employment opportunities. The program's core values instill leadership, innovation, teamwork, empowerment, and professionalism. Ms. Sloan's vision is to be known for the highest ethical standards while giving back to the youth and the community as a whole. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare July 16th, 2024 to be Amber Sloan Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Would my fellow colleagues like to come up and take a group picture?
Stay put, please, y'all.
Hold them smiles one more time. Come on, you'll do better than that. Send me some cheese here.
Wait a minute, Chris. I think you're getting a better flick than me. Wait a minute. Okay.
And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the Honorable Judge Cooper, who came to the chambers today. Thank you so much for joining us.
The Honorable Coach Jones. High school coach.
Congratulations. My pleasure.
And we have one more by Councilman Smith, so we'll move on. We'll move on to those being read into the record, and we'll take hers when she gets here. And we have 4 to be read into the record, 2 on behalf of Councilman Charlin, 1 on behalf of myself, and 1 on behalf of Councilwoman Smith.
Councilperson Charlin presents, now therefore be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh recognizes July 14th as Beltuver Consensus Group Day in the City of Pittsburgh. And Councilperson Charlin also presents, now therefore be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh recognizes July 13th, 2024 to be Fro Gang Day in the City of Pittsburgh. And Councilman Lavelle presents, now therefore be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare July 16th, 2024 to be John Robert Lewis Day in the City of Pittsburgh. And Councilwoman Cale Smith presents, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Friday, August 2nd to be Isshin Ryu Karate Academy Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve all 4?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All 4 proclamations have been approved. We also have a will of council from Councilman Charlin. Do you wish to read it in its entirety or the last clause?
Yes, could we read it in its entirety?
Councilman Charlin presents, whereas as a part of the COVID-19 pandemic emergency declaration in March 2020, the city moved many services online, and the departments that accept, review, and issue permits to the public moved operations to the One Stop Pittsburgh online portal. And whereas the Department of Permits, License, and Inspections, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure, the Department of City Planning, Zoning, and Development Review all regulate development and ensure construction and renovations are done safely and legally, and are obligated to provide accurate oversight during permitting processing. And whereas in 2023 alone, PLI processed nearly 28,000 permits online and 11,000 phone calls and 12,000 online chats through the One Stop Pittsburgh online portal. And whereas efforts by these permit issuing departments to improve the public experience, including adding those chat features to the online portal, enabling accelerated plan reviews, and utilizing predictable and equitable fee structures during the pandemic, should be applauded. And whereas the digital divide describes the resources group in broadband internet and smart device access, and in Pittsburgh 10% of households do not have computers. And whereas the city must remain committed to providing equitable access to public services for all households. And whereas since vacating the former office space at the J.P. Robbins Civic Building at 200 Ross Street in downtown Pittsburgh, the opening of the planned interdepartmental public-facing counter and facility at 412 Boulevard of the Allies has faced understandable construction delays and pushed the availability of in-person access to the city's application technicians and planned examiners to the late fall of 2024. And whereas, in light of this delayed timeline and marking 4.5 years since closing the physical counter, the city must make local government more accessible to its residents and more friendly to new construction to meet growing household demands. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh hereby urges the timely establishment of physical permitting counter at least one business day per week at the location accessible to the public, in addition to the One Stop Pittsburgh online portal, until a more permanent and reliable physical location option is opened.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, Councilman?
Yeah, yes. So I want to thank members for joining me with this. I have spoken with the department directors and Chief Chandalopoli about this pressing need. As we see more and more delays on 412 Boulevard of the Allies, the situation has become more pressing that we really need to get a physical location opened up for permitting through the city. It is great that we've made a lot of strides on One Stop and a lot of strides in making our permits more accessible online, but that is not serving our constituents, all of our constituents well here. And I'm asking that these departments uncouple their timeline for having a physical location with the build out of 412. We've talked to all the departments about it, and we hear that it's coming, but I don't think we can wait around much longer for this. We have physical locations that we've identified, and we'd be happy to talk with the departments about what other options might be, but we can't wait for the construction of 412 Boulevard of the Allies to delay us much longer on having a physical location where someone can come up and get their permit, so that we can make sure that all the work in the city of Pittsburgh is being done effectively and is also done safely. So this is the will of council for that. I'm, open to and interested in passing this as a resolution later if we don't see more movement here, but I want to see some movement here, and hopefully we can draw some attention to that now. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The will of council has been approved. Our next order of business is public comment. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation which may be before city council, and profanity will not be permitted. Once you are called, please restate your name, provide your neighborhood for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller.
Dr. Ronald N. Miller, Belsuver. I've been educated at the University of Oxford and the University of Pittsburgh, among other institutions. I'm a Global Intelligence Society candidate for President 2024. The vote is a concern of this council. The key presidential vote problem is not that RP Trump is a criminal or that DP Biden is a cognitive defective, but that we in Pittsburgh and elsewhere across the United States do not have vote-by-voter verification for whom. The vote is the core of the USC Amendment 1 free speech clause. Vote-by-voter verification for whom ensures the vote. A United States American citizen must be able to check, to verify, to see if his or her vote is misapplied or misplaced. Some always are. VVVFW is forbidden by the Allegheny County Election Division and all equivalent ACEDs across the United States in all counties. We, the people, are not in control of our votes. Without control of our votes, we have no democracy. United States citizens, Pittsburghers, we have no democracy. VVVFW and television, Nigeria, Hausa template. Does KDKA TV General Manager Chris Cotugno support Korea by my Jefa Korea Gaskata? For whom? No. WTA TV General Manager Charles Wolferts? No. WPXI TV General Manager Kevin Hayes? No. They don't care. This is not a story to them. It's not a story that our vote is an illusion and that we are delusional about it. VVVFW and local government executives, Nihongo Tempureto. Do County of Allegheny Chief Executive Claimant Sarah Inamorado and City of Pittsburgh Mayor Claimant Ed Gainey support Toyo by Yukansha Kakunin? For whom? No. Despite recorded challenges by me in public comment, neither I nor G want to check their own votes. Do want any of us to check our votes. This is anti-citizen vote control. VVVFW, and local government representatives, Mexico, Espanol, Plantinia, do Pittsburgh City Council President, Councilor Claimant Daniel Lavelle, and other council claimants, Mosley, Charlin, Goghill, Wilson, Strasburger, Groves, Cale Smith, Warwick, support voto votante verificación for whom? No. No check of his or her own vote, and no check of your vote. This is anti-citizen vote control. This is Welt umdreht.
Thank you. Our next registered speaker is Kode Kibe. I do not see them online. Is Kota Kibe with us? If not, our next registered speaker is Chief Pomai Chakman Yahelahi.
Brand new day, everyone. My title is Pomai Chakman Yahelahi, and I'm the Chief of Medicine, Land Management, and Stewardship within the Iroquois Confederacy of Aborigine American People. I'm the Grand Inca of my bloodline lineal nation, the Okwe Omwe, Bakako Uksil Ushwi Il, Aborigines of the Americas. I come before you today very disappointed in a lot of ways. My experience in this area, you call Pittsburgh, I call it the Delaware Territory, has been bittersweet. I have generations of bloodlines in this particular area you call Pittsburgh. My great-grandparents, and I have multiple cousins, I'll say probably upwards of 400 or 500 cousins that are still in this area, scattered all over Pittsburgh. I have many aunts, many uncles, and then extended cousins as well. And we're the Aborigines of America. We grew up knowing that we are Indians. Our grandparents did not forget to tell us and was very open with our history. And the history of us being reclassified, the history of us being reclassified, and the history of us being reclassified multiple times, from Indians to coloreds to Negroes to blacks, and well before African American was even a misnomer that's being used today. And the problem that I have with the city of Pittsburgh City Council is that we've met multiple times before this administration, and we've had wonderful meetings. And there was an open dialogue in these meetings. And so from that process, we moved to meet with Mayor Peduto. And in our meeting with him, you know, we talked about our rights being violated in the city of Pittsburgh, and what can we do as a body together, working together to stop the atrocities that are happening to our people here in the city. The suggestion was the Commission of Human Relations to work with them. And we did for over a year. We came up with a beautiful legislation that is going to honor and respect and protect the rights of Indigenous people in this area. And now we're at the crossroads. One of you must sponsor the bill. I don't know your language in your home charter, but someone has to say, hey, let's talk about it. And that's where we are right now. So I want the city of Pittsburgh to know that we're at a good place with city council, indigenous people to sit together and talk about what it looks like to truly be a city for all. Because these words get thrown around a lot. They get thrown around a lot, and I don't see the all, including indigenous people in Pittsburgh. I don't see the all.
Thank you. That exhausts our list of registered speakers. If there's anyone in chambers wishing to speak, please come forward at this time. Provide your name, neighborhood for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Javon F. Brown. I live in KD Rivers Tires, which is the tall building up on Bedford, that real tall building. That's 190 apartments. I came today because when I was listening to the news about what happened with Trump, I heard him saying, did you see him? He fist pumped. But I want you to understand that I have been in politics for over 20 years. I've been coming down here, kids, 20 years I've been coming. But you must remember the year when they had the Olympics and the black men put their fists up in the air. You know, they took their medals away because they put their fists up in the air. And I hear him talk about Trump, such a brave man. He put his fists up in the air. Well, something should happen to him. If they took the medals from the black men because they put their hands up in the air. I'm just saying that, you know, this country, when they say white man speak with a forked tongue, I want you to understand what that means. You say one thing, one way. For you, the black people can't put their hands up, but, oh, Trump put his hands up, and he's such a brave man. I know he was scared when it knocked part of his ear off. Then I heard somebody talking about, oh, that man wasn't a good shooter. In the first place, children, when they talk about their rifles, I want you to know, I went in the store where they sell rifles, and they're like, some of them is $900, $1,000. I mean, they cost a lot of money. So this person had money. Plus, they said he went to the shooting range. He learned how to shoot. So and when that one man said he wasn't a good shot at all, if the president hadn't turned his fat head, it would have hit him, not just his ear. Now they said that all of them jumped on him. You know he's bloated. They were saying how bloated he is. So I know he was uncomfortable, and he probably thought he was dying then. But for him to say how brave he was, what did he do that was so brave? He put his hand up in the air. So he's a brave man. No, I know he's scared, and he ought to be praying to God that thanking God that the bullet didn't hit him in his head. Where it should, forgive me, I've been praying not to say mean things, because it's hard. It's hard, especially when I come down here with these people. All these years I've been coming, and they disrespect me. So I feel that what you say, the people don't really know what's happening in the communities. You cover it up, or you sit and praise each other. But I'm telling you, my community, we are still trying to get a bus or some kind of transportation down the bottom of the hill to the hospital. Thank you.
Next speaker, please. Seeing no further speakers, we will return to proclamations with Councilwoman Smith.
Thank you. Well, Canevin Baseball, please come forward. Thank you all for waiting and making sure I've had a chance to present this. Traffic in the West End, if you live over that side, is terrible today. They have a road closed. But I was glad I heard you were running late too. So I'm glad. So I just want to say we're so proud that Canevin is actually the only high school in District 2 that we have. And they've been doing so many tremendous things, and I think we've had a lot of people from the District 2 area now attending Canevin. And so we're so thankful to have this school, and such, I mean, it's an amazing school. They produce a lot of excellence, and we just want to thank you for everything that you do for the area in general. And I'll just say your names are all at the end of the procs. They'll be included. I'm not reading those. Whereas the Bishop Canevin Crusaders baseball team won the WPIAL Class A title game on Tuesday, May 28, 2024, after the Crusaders defeated Eden Christian Academy 10-3 at Wild Things Park in Washington, Pennsylvania. And whereas Bishop Canevin, the number 4 seed for the playoffs, beat the number 2 seed Eden Christian 20-6. To win their fourth WPIAL, did you hear Councilman Caldwell? He knows about sports. WPIAL championship, and their first back-to-back championship in school history. And whereas this year's veteran team started 5 seniors, 4 juniors, and 1 freshman in the title game. The Crusaders ended their season in the WPIAA playoffs and finished with a 15-5 record. And whereas the head coach, Bill Varley, led the team with assistant coaches Craig Sanson, Bob Gorney, I know Bob Gorney's name pretty well, and Ryan Varley. The Crusaders also credit their athletic trainer for their successful season. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize and congratulate the Bishop Canevin Crusaders baseball team for their WPIAL championship and successful season. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, June 16th, 2024 to be Crusaders Baseball Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll just say, look at the kids. And I'll just say that we're so fortunate to have Canevin again, but also our office staff has benefited greatly with a lot of people that attended Canevin working in our office. And currently, I don't know if you know, but we have one of your Elliott, well, his last name's Elliott, Dominic Elliott, who played basketball for you, working in our office. Yep. So he's amazing too. So I'm going to take the proc and say a few words, and then we're going to let you all say your names, and we'll take a photo with everyone. And maybe if the kids want to come up, they can take a photo with you too. So, is that okay? That'd be nice. Okay?
Yeah, we just want to thank Council.
No, come here.
What?
Microphone, live.
Come to the mic.
We're live. So people of the public can hear.
We'd just like to thank Councilwoman Smith and Lori Marabella. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes. Her kid also went to Canada.
Oh, her kid went to Canada. That's good to know. Anyway, we'd just like to thank them for having us down here today. We were here last year, and obviously last year when we were here, we were hoping we'd be here again, and here we are back again. And we had a very nice season. We got a great group of guys. They worked their butts off from January through the end of May or into June this year. And you know, we got, like I said, we got a good group of guys, and we work hard, we play hard, and this year it worked out for us again, and we won the WPL championship. I hope some of you got to go to the game, but it was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's always tough. It's always tough for people that are working, but we had a nice crowd at the Washington Wild Things field that day. A lot of our fans came out, and we were just proud to be able to play the best game we could and come out on top. So it's all the credit to these guys, the players. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Assistant Coach Craig Sanson. I just want to say thank you to all of our players and some of the guys who could not be here today. Like Coach Farley said, these young men are just exemplary athletes and students. You know, all their schoolwork that they do, they stay on top of things. You know, times we're leaving school at 1:30, they're missing class, but they've never had, missed assignments. They always make sure they get their schoolwork done, and which exemplifies the student athlete, which we really try to reassure that they're going to get their things done on and off the field. And I just want to say thank you to all of our players and the rest of our coaches and staff.
Can they all come up and just introduce themselves and say, what position you play? What grade you're in?
I'm Aaron Edwards. I'm a rising senior at Bishop Canevin, and I play the outfield.
My name is Laurent Libsey. I'm going to be a junior, and I play pitcher.
My name is Lucas Gombieski. I'll be going in my freshman year of college, and I was the team's first baseman.
My name is Aiden Gazelle, and I play right field, and I'm going to be a junior this year.
I'm Kellen Andrusik. I'm going to my senior year, and I played second base.
My name is Jordan Martin. I just graduated, and I play second base.
My name is Don Varley, and I play shortstop.
My name is Jalen Jackson. What was it? Oh, yeah, I'm going to my sophomore year, and I play outfield.
My name's Lane Gerba. I'm going to be a sophomore and I pitch.
My name is JT Healy. I'm going to be a junior this year, and I'm an outfielder.
Your mother worked for the city too. Okay, we can take a photo. And I want to say one of their biggest supporters, who actually serves on the board, is State Representative Dan Deasy. Make sure I mention him. Do you guys want to come up for the photo with us? No.
Over here.
Can we have a picture with the kids? Photo with the kids? You want us up here still? Yeah. Come on. You're gonna make me stand here. Your kids are as tall as me.
Look over here.
He gives good directions.
Put your hands down.
Thank you.
Look, this is Deborah Gross, we're talking about city council. That's the person who represents you in city council.
Look how long.
Yeah, but she runs for president.
What's on Friday? Oh. Was that on Friday? Shit. Yeah. Is that on this Friday?
All right, so with that, our next order of business will be the presentation of papers. Paradise? Is that Paradise? Beginning with Councilman Charlin, Chair of Human Resources.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Great. Paradise? Is that him?
Councilperson Charlin presents Bill Number 714, Resolution amending Resolution 148 of 2023, authorizing the mayor and the Commission on Human Relations to expand the agreement or agreements with Reuter Law for legal services related to the enforcement of City Code Chapter 65903, unlawful housing practices, by increasing the approved amount by $50,000 for an amended total cost not to exceed $175,000 over 5 years.
And Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Safety and Wellness.
No new papers, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, Technology. Councilman Mosley.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill Number 715, Resolution amending Resolution 187 of 2024, which provided for the extension of a professional services agreement or agreements with NCR Corporation to provide citywide credit, debit, and e-check payment services for the collection of various program and permitting fees for the city of Pittsburgh by extending the term of agreement for 5 additional years at no additional cost to the city, and ratifying NCR Corporation's provision of citywide credit, debit, and e-check payment services during the year 2023. Bill Number 716, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with FedT LLC for an IT staffing and utilization study at a cost not to exceed $63,000 over 1 year.
I just saying this, and Councilman Mosley, Chair of Intergovernmental Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill Number 717, Resolution adopting plan revision to the City of Pittsburgh's Official Sewage Facilities Plan Act 537 Plan Special Study for the 31st Ward Sanitary Sewer System at no cost to the city. Bill 718, Resolution further amending Resolution Number 863 of 2018, effective January 1st, 2019, as amended, entitled Resolution adopting and approving the 2019 capital budget and the 2019 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2019 through 2024 Capital Improvement Program by reducing homeowner assistance by $915,347.64, increasing tenant assistance by $771,973.61, and by increasing Urban Redevelopment Authority personnel by $143,374.03. Bill 719, Resolution amending Resolution Number 53 of 2021, which authorized the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a cooperation agreement or agreements with the Urban Redevelopment Authority for the performance of work related to the 2019 through 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program by realigning funding across 3 deliverables to fit programmatic needs at no cost to the city. Bill 720, Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for costs associated with the Ruthven Street Retaining Wall Project, where PWSA would be responsible for paying 100% of the actual expenses involved in certain work, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $930,437, where PWSA would be responsible for paying 100% of the actual expenses involved in certain work to be described in the agreement at no cost to the City of Pittsburgh, and further amending Resolution Number 857 of 2023, effective December 27, 2023, entitled Resolution adopting and approving the 2024 capital budget, the proposed 2024 Community Development Program, and a 2024 through 2029 Capital Improvement Program by increasing slope failure remediation by $930,437. Bill 721, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements and or amendments with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for the purpose of systemizing sewer stormwater separation and stormwater storage located in Brookline Memorial Park at no cost to the city. Bill 722, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for temporary right of entry and license at Moore Park for the purpose of stormwater improvements at no cost to the city. Bill 723, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works and or the director of the Department of Finance to enter into an agreements and/or amendments with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for the purpose of replacing the sewer system at McGee Field in the city's Greenfield Park upon DPW Forestry Division's review and permit issuance, if applicable, prior to commencing this project at no cost to the city. Bill 724, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreements and/or amendments with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for the purpose of maintaining stormwater management systems in Phillips Park at no cost to the city. And Bill number 725, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an access agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority at no cost to the city for access to certain wastewater lines owned by the city and leased to PWSA for a PGH lab demonstration project in which the city would run fiber optic sensor cabling manufactured by PGH Lab Participant Company Artificial Intelligent Monitored Infrastructure by light sensors through certain wastewater lines.
And Councilwoman Kell Smith, Chair of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services. Councilwoman Smith indicated to me that she wishes not to introduce her bills today. So we'll move on to Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Finance and Law.
Councilperson Strasburger presents Bill number 644, resolution amending Resolution 909 of 2023, which authorized the fee schedule for 2024 pursuant to Chapter 170 of the City Code by revising the employee parking fee as recommended by the Director of Human Resources and Civil Service.
Madam Clerk, could we stop there? I apologize. For Bill 644, we need a motion to waive the rules of council so this bill can actually be introduced. May we have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The rules have been waived, the bill has been read in, and now we need a motion, Councilwoman.
Well, I'd like to motion, so I believe the one thing I need to do today is to motion to waive the rules for this to appear on tomorrow's agenda. Okay.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bill 644 will appear on tomorrow's standing committee agenda. And clerk, for the rest of the bills?
Bill 727, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Grace Arbor in an amount not to exceed $3,075 over 1 year in full and final settlement of a claim for damage to her vehicle from an intersectional accident with a city police vehicle on May 19, 2023. Bill 728, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Sherman Hobson and his attorney, Villanova Law Offices, P.C., for a single payment in 2024 in an amount not to exceed $75,000 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas. Bill 729, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of Duquesne Light Company in an amount not to exceed $3,097.83 over 1 year in full and final settlement of a claim for damage to light pole near 2420 Lindale Street from a city ES vehicle on August 18, 2023. Bill 730, resolution authorizing the issuance of 8 warrants with the total sum of $45,000. It is further understood and agreed that the payment schedule of the total settlement amount shall be as follows: $4,050 payable to Kelly Engel, $4,050 payable to Deron Lewis, $4,050 payable to Kelly Engel as guardian of Sade Shree Engel, $4,050 payable to Kylie McNary Miners Master Trust, $4,050 payable to Kamaya McNary Miners Master Trust, $4,050 payable to India McNary Miners Master Trust, $4,050 payable to Cadilea Engel Miners Master Trust, and $16,650 payable to O'Brien, Coleman, and Wright, LLC, in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the United States District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania, payable over 1 year. Bill 731, resolution further amending Resolution number 886 of 2021, effective December 27, 2021, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2022 Capital Budget and the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Program by reducing Bridge Preservation and Restoration Fund by $120,000 and increasing 28th Street Bridge by $120,000. Bill 732, Resolution amending Resolution 200 of 2024, which authorized the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with Pittsburgh Futures for professional services relating to leadership development training by increasing the authorized spend by $54,000 for a new total not to exceed a cost of $261,336. And Bill number 733, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of finance to enter into, on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh, a lease agreement or agreements with Risa Cafe to utilize a portion of the first floor of the City of Pittsburgh building located at 1555 Broadway Avenue, number 102, to operate a commercial coffee shop at no cost to the city.
And Councilwoman Warwick, Chair of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Warwick presents Bill number 734, resolution amending Resolution 127 of 2023, which provided for a reimbursement agreement or agreements between the City of Pittsburgh and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in connection with PennDOT's Transportation Alternatives Set Aside and the city's Safe Routes to School program for costs associated with the preliminary engineering and construction phases of the project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $345,000, an increase of $220,000 from the previously executed agreement for costs associated with the preliminary engineering and construction phases of the project, federally reimbursable at 100%, and the municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $0. Bill 735, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Department of Community and Economic Development's Multimodal Transportation Fund for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $735,026 to support the Critical Sidewalk Gap Program. Bill number 736, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Department of Community and Economic Development's Multimodal Transportation Fund for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds in the amount of $74,147 to support the Second Avenue Connector Project. Bill 737, resolution providing for a supplemental agreement or agreements with SAI Consulting Engineers, Inc. for costs associated with the CBD Signals Phase 4 project, providing for payment of the cost thereof and not to exceed $575,887.64, an increase of $51,148.31 from the previously executed agreement as previously authorized by Resolution 395 of 2022. Bill 738, resolution authorizing the mayor of the City of Pittsburgh and the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to apply for a grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Economic Development's Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program for the Shinley Park Connector Project. The grant proposal includes an ask of $250,000 with a local match of $123,195.42 for a total project cost of $373,195.42 for this stated purpose. Bill number 739, resolution amending Resolution 559 of 2020, providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, and right-of-way phases of the 28th Street Bridge project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $2,830,000, an increase of $1,610,000 from the previously executed agreement for costs associated with the preliminary engineering, final design, and right-of-way phases of the project, reimbursable at 95%. Any municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $5,500, an increase of $4,000 from the previously executed agreement. Bill 740, resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary design, final design, right-of-way, and partial construction phases of the Allegheny River Green Boulevard project, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $2,500,000, reimbursable at 80%, any municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs at a cost to the City of Pittsburgh not to exceed $30,000. Bill 741, resolution authorizing, pursuant to Chapter 210, acceptance of gifts to the city of the City Code, the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to accept a donation from Carnegie Mellon University in the amount of $47,300 to reimburse the city for paving and striping the parking lot on Morewood Avenue near Fifth Avenue, and further amending Resolution Number 857 of 2023, effective December 27, 2023, entitled Resolution Adopting and Approving the 2024 Capital Budget, the proposed 2024 Community Development Program, and the 2024 through 2029 Capital Improvement Program by increasing street resurfacing by $47,300. Bill 742, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for maintenance obligations of facilities on Butler Street. This resolution serves to authorize only the agreement or agreements at no cost to the city. Bill 743, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the city of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement with the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership for planting and maintenance obligations of facilities on Smithfield Street between Forbes Avenue and 6th Street. This resolution serves to authorize only the agreement or agreements at no cost to the city. Bill 744, ordinance amending the Pittsburgh Code of Ordinances, Title IV, Public Places and Property, Article 1, Public Right-of-Way, Chapter 417, Pavement Protection, Section 41708, Sidewalk and Curb Repair Program, to extend the pilot program by 4 months through the end of 2024 construction season. Bill 745, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works and or the director of the Department of Finance to enter into an agreements and or amendments with the Audubon Society of Western Pennsylvania for the purpose of funding Southside Park projects administered by the Friends of Southside Park at no cost to the city. Bill 746, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works, the director of the Department of Finance, and or the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance to enter into an agreements and or amendments with Crown Castle for the purpose of cabling and fiber optics installation on city property at and or near Highland Park at no cost to the city. And Bill number 747, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with the United States Forest Service for the purpose of receiving and spending grant funds from the Inflation Reduction Act in the amount of $1 million to support equitable street tree efforts in certain census tracts.
Thank you. And Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill number 748, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with agencies to provide supportive services related to the Home ARP program for a total not to exceed $200,000. Bill 749, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Office of Management and Budget to enter into an agreement or agreements with Auberly for services relating to non-congregate shelter services related to the Home ARP program for a total not to exceed amount of $1,500,000. And Bill number 750, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission for the purpose of receiving grant funds in the amount of $25,000 to develop revised historic guidelines in the Mexican War Streets Historic District. The grant requires a match from the City of Pittsburgh in the amount of $12,500 for this stated purpose, for a total project not to exceed $37,500.
And on behalf of myself, I have one communication.
Council President Lavelle presents Bill number 751, communication from Jake Pollack, Director of Office of Management and Budget, submitting to City Council the attached status update from the Grants Office for the week ended July 12, 2024.
Need a motion to read, receive, and file?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The bills be read, received, and filed. That takes us to reports of committee for final action, beginning with Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, presenting on Committee of Finance and Law.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Strasburger presents Bill number 708, reported to Committee on Finance and Law for July 10, 2024 with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 641, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant in favor of James Sheets and his attorney at Pesos Law LLC for a single payment in 2024 in the amount not to exceed $10,000 in full and final settlement of litigation filed in the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas.
You've heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed, vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross? Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bills having received the legally required numbers of votes is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Anthony Coghill presenting on the Committee of Public Safety and Wellness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
President, I should say.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill Number 709, reported to Committee on Public Safety and Wellness for July 10, 2024, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 632, Resolution amending Resolution 544 of 2022, which authorized the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Safety to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership for services rendered by Clean Team ambassadors within the Southside Parking Enhancement District by increasing the total not to exceed amount by $300,000 for a new total not to exceed $675,000 over 3 years.
You have heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross? Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill having received the legally required numbers of votes is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Barbara Ward presenting on the Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And Councilwoman, I'll come back to you on unfinished business.
Councilwoman Warwick presents Bill Number 710, reported to Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for July 10, 2024, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 645, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements with C.D.R. McGuire, Inc. for project design management services and reviews in connection with various City of Pittsburgh construction projects for a total not to exceed amount of $2,798,469.70, reimbursable at various rates depending on the project. Bill 646, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy for the administration of certain 2024 Parks tax-funded projects and programs and providing for the payment of the cost not to exceed $640,000. Bill 647, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works and/or the director of the Department of Finance to enter into a leases, subleases, and/or amendments at the Fraser Fieldhouse located at 3700 Fraser Street with the lessee, the Oakland Planning and Development Corporation, for the purpose of providing community programming, meetings, and event space to OPDC for a 5-year period at no cost to the city. Bill 680, Resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with Ray's Hill District project and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $14,150,000, reimbursable at 80%, any municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $93,000. And Bill Number 681, Resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant payable in favor of Chartiers Valley District Flood Control Authority to renew the City of Pittsburgh's membership into the CVDFCA and pay fees for the year 2024 in an amount not to exceed $17,204.
You've heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? If none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross? Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Kell Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick? Aye. Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
8 ayes.
The bill is now ready. The bill, having received the legally required numbers of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Bob Charlin, presenting on the Committee of Human Resources.
That's not. Usually it's my fault, but I don't think this one's on me.
Councilman Charlin presents Bill Number 711, reported to Committee on Human Resources for July 10, 2024, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 631, resolution providing that the City of Pittsburgh enter into a professional services agreement and/or contract with Industrial Organizational Solutions, Inc. for professional consulting services in connection with Fire Battalion Chief position job analyses, the development, administration, and scoring of written examinations and development, assessor selection, administration, and scoring of the oral board examinations, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $71,005.
You have heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed, vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross?
Aye.
Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
9 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required numbers of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Deborah Gross, presenting on the Committee of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill Number 712, reported to Committee on Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology for July 10, 2024, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 633, resolution amending Resolution Number 352 of 2023, which authorized an amended agreement with Workiva, Inc. to provide a subscription-based budget publishing software solution for 4 years by extending the term for 1 year and by increasing the approved amount by $52,043.81 for a new total cost not to exceed $221,344.14. Bill 634, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a non-disclosure agreement at no cost to the city with Cabotics Fiber Systems Limited for the city to receive estimated pricing information from Cabotics for their innovative fiber optic installation system. Bill 635, resolution amending Resolution 33 of 2022, authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Innovation and Performance on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into an agreement or agreements and amendments thereto with CIS, Center for Internet Security, for Albert M.D. monitoring application, which predicts malicious activity on the city network by monitoring, alerting, and analyzing information gathered by sensors by increasing the approved amount by $41,400 for an amended total cost not to exceed $97,500 over 8 years. Bill 636, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service to enter into a professional services agreement and/or contracts with NeoGov for the continual maintenance of software for HR workforce management, applicant tracking, and civil service testing, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof, cost not to exceed $47,408.14. Bill 637, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of public safety, and the director of innovation and performance to enter into a professional service agreement or agreements with Locality Media, Inc., doing business as First Due, for professional services relating to purchase and implementation of new firehouse management and administrative support software for a total cost not to exceed $501,546.50 over 3 years.
You have heard the reading and the title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross? Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
9 ayes.
The bill, having received the legally required numbers of votes, is passed finally. And finally, that takes us to Councilman Kahari Mosley, presenting on the Committee of Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill number 713, reported to Committee on Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs for July 10, 2024, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 638, Resolution amending Resolution 15, 198, and 375 of 2024, which authorized the cooperation agreement or agreements with the City of Pittsburgh Equipment Leasing Authority for the purchase and leasing of vehicles, equipment and accessories, equipment support infrastructure, and professional services in fiscal year 2024 by increasing the authorized amount by $29,870 to a new total of $14,525,666.50 for additional items to be added to the plan. Bill 639, Resolution further amending Resolution number 42 of 2019, entitled Resolution Authorizing the Mayor and the Director of the Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services agreement between the City of Pittsburgh and AE7 Pittsburgh LLC for architectural and engineering design services for the multi-story office build-out at 412, formerly 420, Boulevard of the Allies by increasing the amount of the professional services agreement with AE7 by $142,740.31 from $432,000 to $574,740.31. Bill 640, Resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works to enter into an agreement or agreements and/or amendments with the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority for the purpose of rehabilitating the sewer system at the city's Frick Park underneath the Fern Hollow Bridge at no cost to the city.
You've heard the reading of the entitled bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charlin?
Aye.
Mr. Coghill?
Aye.
Ms. Gross?
No on Bill 0639, aye on Bill 0638 and 640.
All right. Mr. Mosley?
Aye.
Oh, 0739, okay.
Mrs. Cale Smith?
Aye on all bills except for, what was the number, Councilwoman Gross?
639, I believe.
She voted no on 639.
Yeah, that's the Boulevard of the Allies.
Yes.
Yeah, I want no on that bill as well. Thank you.
An aye on 638 and 640.
All the others, yes.
Mrs. Strasburger?
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President?
Aye.
On bills 638 and 640, 9 ayes. And on bill 639, 7 ayes and 2 noes.
The bills have received the legally required numbers of votes. It is passed finally. That takes us to motions and resolutions. Councilwoman Warwick, I believe you have a motion for one bill in your committee.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw Bill 0738.
Are there any objections?
What is it?
So
It's Bill 738 on page 11 within your packet.
Yeah, so this is a bill for applying for a grant with matching funds for something called the Shenley Park Connector Project. And I meet with Domi every 2 weeks, and they, to talk about new legislation. It's my committee, and nobody mentioned this bill to me. So,
okay, I
yeah.
understand.
Anyway, and also, now this I'm not sure of, but we need to verify, but I don't believe I saw this in the list of grants, the list that's supposed to come that, explains the grants that we're applying for, but I need to verify that.
Okay.
That I don't know. But at any rate, so I would like to withdraw.
Second. Second.
It doesn't actually require a vote.
I didn't know, okay.
So seeing no objections, the bill has been withdrawn. Anything else from members? If not, Madam Clerk, I would like to call for an executive session on the conservatorship ruling from Judge McVeigh. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We will work to get that scheduled. Anything else from members? Councilman Mosley.
I just wanted to mention and thank the staff at the URA for their communication yesterday. I know it's been an issue in Council District 9 as well. They had recently began posting for sale signs at URA on properties which are predominantly in District 6 and District 9, and there was definitely an outcry in the community, and not the type of community engagement that you would like to see before taking that kind of step. And I was definitely, not received in the community the way the URA expected. I know I've had conversations with the URA subsequently as well as council president, and they began the process of removing those for sale signs from the properties around the city. So I just wanted to thank the URA for being responsive to the concerns of the community and trying to figure out a better way to engage with the community and let the community know what URA parcels are available for community development.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that, Councilman Mosley, the intent was there was good intent behind it, which is all those parcels are still listed for sale on our website. But in the name of transparency, we wanted to be clear with the community that community members also had an opportunity to purchase these, as well as if lots weren't being taken care of, you knew who actually owned it. And so you could call on us. But to your point, there was not enough community engagement on the front end, so it was received very negatively. So we're pulling those, and then we'll begin working with community groups to figure out a better path forward. So if nothing else, Councilwoman Smith.
I just want to say to that end, I hope you know that you're working with the council members as well, because there's a lot of people to say that they represent the community that don't. So I just want to make sure that whenever we do things, we're also engaging the people that are actually elected to represent them. Thank you.
Absolutely. That'll take us to meeting announcements. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, Council will hold an executive session on Bills 726, 728, 729, and 730 as it relate to litigation matters. And tomorrow, Wednesday, July 17th, Council will hold our regular standing committee meeting at 10 a.m. Registration closes at 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, to register to speak at this council meeting, please fill out the sign-up form in its entirety or call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Also on Wednesday at 1:30, Council will hold a Cablecast post agenda relative to the Controller's report on procurement waivers. With that, we need a motion to approve the minutes and adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.